is William Tincup, and we are podcasting from isolved Connect Chicago. Got Pamela with me today. We're going to do a little industry stuff. So Pamela, would you do a favor and for the audience, introduce yourself?
Sure. William, first of all, thanks so much for having me on the podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Pamela Stroko, and I've been in HCM, a good 25 years plus. Spent most of my career in tech with Oracle. But before that, I actually was a practitioner, and I did the jobs that the technology is now being built to solve.
That's awesome. I always love stories. I always love vendors that have a practitioner story, an origin story that then they moved over.
It gives you a different perspective. You know, when someone's trying to sell you something, and you know they haven't done the job, it's really apparent that they haven't really thought through how's that going to go? How are we going to get this implemented? How do we get people on board?
You don't really know my day.
Yeah.
You don't know my day.
You don't know my day. You don't know my year.
You think you know my day. You don't know my day.
That's true. So I am in the industry with a lot of practitioner experience and now analyst experience and tech experience. And
you worked at Oracle for?
Over 12 years.
Yeah, I was about to say.
12 years in
way over a decade.
VP of HCM transformation there.
Ooh.
And it was interesting. And the thing I can say about working at Oracle, and, you know, with any vendor, they all have their fans, they all have their detractors. So
100%.
Whatever you think is whatever you think. But the thing I can say about working at Oracle is they invested heavily in HCM R&D.
Right.
I mean, at the time I was there, they were investing like $6 billion a year. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so when you look at, you know, how is a company building for its future, you know, you have to ask, how are they making those investments? And how are they going to help me as a customer keep up? And how are they going to help me do well in the marketplace? Because ultimately, that's what you're buying.
Right. So the move to analyst, you do a lot of independent things.
I do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So one of the my most fun independent things I've done in the last year is there are two authors out in the marketplace, Barry Conchie and Sarah Dalton, and they wrote a book called The 5 Talents That Really Matter. And I've known Barry for years. We've worked together, at least 15 years. I think he'd say 20, but he's somewhere in there, 15 to 20 years. And for those of you that don't know Barry, he wrote a book on succession that sold like 1.5 million copies about how to do that well. And Sarah has worked with him for a number of years. And so when they're bringing this book out, they talked to me, they said, well, how do we get this into the market? And I said, well, you have to tell people about it in ways that make sense to them.
Right.
So we decided to do a series of 6 podcasts. And so there are 5 talents. So there's a podcast for each talent. And then there's like an overview podcast. And I was just getting into doing the podcasting, and I'd done webcasts for years for Oracle, but this is like, is like his thing and me helping him with this thing and so forth. Well, okay, here are the results, and I'm glad you're sitting down. So we did the 6 podcasts, and we pushed them out on the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And over a period of time, probably a 90-day period of time between the 6 podcasts, we had over 300,000 hits, which I thought was really good.
It's really good.
Like really good.
No, it's really good.
And then we could also tell, like on the link where you listen to all 6, we had 40,000 people listen to all 6.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Right.
So that's one of the like independent things I've been doing and helping them take that to the market. And the reason I think that's so important, because it's not just, this is a cool book.
Right.
This is a book that could save corporate hiring forever. Yeah. And let me tell you why.
How do you avoid a bad hire?
How do you avoid a bad hire? How do you get a good hire? And so earlier this year, this was like February, I read this study coming out of the UK. The consulting firm in the UK had asked C-level executives about their quality of hire.
Right.
You know, you bringing on the right people, you finding the right people, how's that going for you? And they found that 85% of those executives said, we are hiring the wrong people. I'm like, I'm not surprised, but I'm actually glad it's out there now. Like somebody actually came out and said that as a result. So that result reverberated over the Atlantic, got back here to the U.S. and a consulting firm here did a study very similar to the UK study, and their results were slightly different. The C-level executives they talked to, 95% of them said, I know we're hiring the wrong people. So, William, what happens when you hire the wrong people? Because first of all, you have so many people invested in this at the upper levels of an organization.
If it's the wrong person and it's something that's trainable,
Mm-hmm.
so not character, right?
Yeah.
So something that's like, okay, we thought they had the skills, they don't have skills. We can fix that.
Yeah, we can fix that. We can get coaching.
We can get coaching.
Get
We
better.
can get training with development. We can fix that. There are other things, I'd say character, personality, passion. We can't
We
fix
can't
that.
fix that.
We can't fix that.
Definitely can't fix that. And so what was interesting was, what do people think? Well, we made a bad hire. This was very public.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody saw this. We paid a search firm. And so they're like, well, let's let performance management fix this. And in what universe does performance management fix someone's ability fix empathy or someone's ability to develop a workforce or build a relationship with their team?
Right.
And so one of the things I was so passionate about in the 5 talents is the 5 talents are innate.
Right.
Setting direction isn't something you can teach someone. Doing it well and having that perspective is innate. And so as you think about that, we're talking about going into the market, looking for talent, and using that research and that backdrop as if these are the things that are innate, this is what we've got to look for. Now, you will have people that will have those things in buckets and lots of capability, and in some areas they might not have as much capability. But the people that do well with the 5 talents actually know where the gaps are, and they surround themselves with people that can help them fill that.
Right.
Which is one of the coolest things.
Right. But they've got to be aware.
Yeah, they have to be aware. And also there's got to be like a way forward for them, because you're not talking about, we're looking for the perfect people. We're looking for people that have those innate qualities that would allow them to make very balanced decisions, that would allow them to lead. If I'm not great at setting direction, I certainly am going to surround myself with people that are.
Right.
And I know how to get the best from them. I know how to connect with them. I know how to highlight them. I know how to have them show the organization this is what we're doing, and I'm part of the conversation. And so you look at that and you say, that's what people need to be focusing on. And if leaders believe, which we now from these studies know that leaders believe they're hiring the wrong people, let's start getting that right.
Right.
Let's start getting the right people there. And if they
seems reasonable.
Yeah. I hate to say it's common sense, but it kind of is.
It is. It's absolutely common sense. I mean, you are the sum of your people.
Yeah.
So the sum of your people, if you've got some brokenness, when you have some brokenness in your firm, you have to get rid of that. All right, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
You're at isolved Connect. You live local.
Yeah.
So, what do you know? Because you study everybody.
I do.
Right. So what did you know kind of coming in about isolved?
So I've studied isolved for a number of years, and I have to share with your audience my bias. My favorite color is pink.
Done.
So they had a lot going for them.
Already in the win column.
Oh my
God. They're already there.
Yeah, already there. And here's what I have always admired about isolved. So, and I'm not sure to what extent customers, other solutions how they would talk about this, but I think energy matters.
Yeah.
I think energy matters big time.
100%.
And if you're considering a solution and somebody shows up and they're going to demo you to death and they're going to give you use cases and you're going to have the pageant of vendors and you don't get energy from that, move on. Seriously, move on.
Right.
Because it's not going to work then. If they don't have the energy to show up with new ideas, the energy to share their passion for what they do, it's not going to work. And so the first thing that impressed me about isolved is they have a lot of energy and passion for what they do and how they do it and how they help and who they help.
Right.
And so it's not just about, because every one of the vendors in HCM is, of course, trying to make their sales number and trying to make their quota.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not about just making a quota. It's how do we help and who can we help and how are we going to help them be successful? That's the number one filter. And I think I got that right. I mean,
Yes.
well, no one's
Good.
actually told me that. That's the filter.
Well, so because you're a former practitioner, you'll get this. Ryan and I interview a ton of their customers.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the cases, they're not necessarily the buyer.
Yeah.
It's, the CHRO or something like that. They're the users.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, when you interview users,
Mm-hmm.
people that are actually in the software all day long,
They'll tell you the truth.
they will tell you the truth.
They will.
And what's fascinating is, and now I haven't seen this at another company in our space in this sense. They call them people heroes. So all their customers are people heroes. Their users, people that are in there every day, love their team. They love their service, support, implementation, sales. And it's like, you don't get that.
Yeah.
It's like all these other firms would love to have that type of relationship with their customers. They don't have that relationship with their customers. They might have it with their buyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? The CFO, the CHRO, they might have that relationship with them, but they don't have this relationship with their users. And that's hard to build.
It is hard to build. And I saw it firsthand this morning. When I got here, I went into their opportunity session. So they're talking about the solution. They're showing screens. For anyone who's ever been at a demo, we got to see the screens for all the various types of things that they can help you do. And it was an engaging exchange. This wasn't a complaint session. By the way, I've seen those too at other companies where people are complaining, well, I tried to do this and it didn't work. And when are you going to fix this? And you take too long to deal with our tickets and blah, 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 blah. No, this is not what it was about.
Hey, I was wondering, could it do this if we did this?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's a great question.
That was one of the things that happened because someone said, well, we never use this functionality. Is there a way to turn that off so we don't have people going there trying to figure out how to use it? And the answer was yes. Yeah, we can help you do that. So there was this really great exchange of how do we help you do this better? How do we help you do this so it makes your life easier? And I could tell people were happy because no one was complaining.
They did this, I think it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, they did a road show. So we went to like 50-something cities. They did Dallas. So I actually went to the session. So it was all in one room, about 75 people. Everybody's got their laptops open. They're cracking up their own instance. Product leaders are up in front, this, that, and the other. And like, they actually listened.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. Like I was like, normally you do this like a test group.
Yeah.
People that are going to give you whatever. This is like, hey, I have a quick question. I don't understand this. It's like, oh, that's a great question. You know what? Many of you probably have that question. Let me go through that. And it's like, they listen, their product people care. It's just a different, I wish every software company in our space could see what they do.
Exactly.
Because they go about supporting the practitioner, back to the recruiter, the HR leader, benefits manager, payroll. They go back to, they actually care about those people. And you can't fake that.
I actually think the reason they're good at that is because of their roots, where they came from and how they got started. And if you think about how they first came to the market, they were going to be, still are, by the way, HR for people that didn't have big HR.
Right.
So we have to provide those tools for people that aren't going to, hire a person for every step in this. They're going to have to do a lot of this work independently. They're going to have to rely on tools. They're going to have to, use the solution to help build productivity and build connectivity and so forth. And so their roots were, we're going to help people really kind of amplify their investment in HR and how they do this. And we're going to give them the tools so they can be big HR in maybe a smaller package.
They can have they can have access to all these cool stuff that as a smaller firm, 100 people, 100-person firm, they wouldn't have access.
They wouldn't have it. Yeah, so they actually,
that's cool.
started with, I think their success comes from, we have not forgotten how we started, and we've not forgotten who we do this for and how we help them.
I love that. All right, I'm gonna give you a magic wand
Yeah.
because you go to a lot of analyst
Yeah.
meetings and you see a lot of this stuff. What are a couple things that you'd love to change about our industry?
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Oh
and we
my
are
gosh.
limited on
Yeah.
time, so
Yeah,
we'll have
I
to know.
know, I know. The conference only goes till tomorrow afternoon. Well, I think there are a couple of things, and you see this in the market when the different solution providers talk about what they can do and how they can do it. And the first thing I would change is, you're not allowed to say anything that is an exaggeration of
Right.
what you do or exaggeration of your results. Like, everybody says, oh, now we have a skill based solution.
Mm,
The people in the market that really have a skill based solution, that are doing that well, that are signing big customers, that are driving productivity in those customer sites, that are actually helping people grow in those customer firms, it's a small handful.
r-
It's not everybody. It's really
maybe
small.
two hands.
Maybe two hands.
Maybe two hands.
Maybe two hands.
That might be a
Yeah.
stretch.
So
Might be just
I
one
would say
hand.
rule number one is, you're not allowed to say stuff that you really can't deliver.
So you know what
It's
I've
really not
told
true.
practitioners? This has been a couple years, but basically, don't look at a demo environment.
Yeah.
Don't look at PowerPoint. Don't look at anything that's looked like it's made in Photoshop. Look at live software.
Mhm.
Because when you can look at software, it means that they've got permission from a customer
Yep.
to crack open an instance so that they're not going to do anything with data, but they can show you
Yep.
how the customer uses data. And what that really avoids is salespeople selling the roadmap or against what's built.
Yep. Yep.
And that's what you want to get to as a practitioner. It's like, do you have this now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not on the
Yeah.
roadmap, because the kitchen sink's
Yeah.
on the roadmap.
Yeah.
But do you have this now?
And can you tell me how effective it is?
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
show me how effective?
That's even
Yeah,
better.
absolutely. Absolutely.
All
So
right.
that's the first thing. You have to be true to what you can really deliver.
Right.
And how many times have solutions just gone down the drain because they promised things they really couldn't deliver?
I got a
So
couple of them on my list right now that are teetering that way.
teetering. There's some we've seen some big solutions circling the drain over the years.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first thing. So the second thing I think I would change is, um, let's not undervalue or underestimate the value of relationships and connection. And I say that now more than ever because on a daily basis, in my email, your email, everybody's email, we are told that AI is going to take over X number of jobs.
Right.
And, and there are companies that are we're gonna limit all our engineers because AI is gonna take it over and so forth. And they act as if all that person was, where AI is gonna take their job, was some sort of cog. Like they're gonna do
Right.
this engineering piece, they're
Right.
gonna do this design piece. And they don't act as if how they show up, the relationships, the connections
It's a
matter.
great point. The
And
humanity.
the humanity. And
Yeah.
do I believe that agentic AI can help people be more productive?
100%.
Absolutely. I've seen it. And by the
Yeah.
way, I'm an agentic AI super fan in my work.
Yep.
So I get it. I know how it works. I know a lot of the pieces that are out there. So I think, yes, there's a lot that can be helped. But there's the other side of what can be helped is how you actually maximize that and how people, technically, with agentic AI, you could offer people more vibrant careers.
Right.
How is that going to happen
Right.
if all you're about is replacing people?
Well, and it's to your point, it's like if you look back at car manufacturing, and especially kind of Henry Ford's
Mhm.
mass production style, there was a guy or a gal that put on lug nuts,
Mhm.
and that was
Yeah.
their job.
Yep.
And it was repetitive. It was, okay, car comes down, let me put on the lug nuts, I'm gonna go around the car. Okay, can you do that with robotics?
Mhm.
100%.
100%.
100%. But that's not all jobs.
Mhm.
There's
No. No.
if you've
There's
got
some
a
jobs. Yeah.
highly repetitive
Yeah.
job Well, you might have conversations around augmentation or automation,
Yeah.
all good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
These aren't bad things, especially if it gives you time back in your day.
Mm-hmm. And see, I think that's all great. And I think we should maximize that as much as we can, because then what people can do is focus on how they deliver higher value to customers, to the future of the company.
Right.
And that's all about competing for the future.
Right. All right. The third thing, do you have a last thing?
Do I have a third thing? Oh gosh, I do, and let me talk around it for a moment.
Sure.
So a couple of years ago, I was at I Am Phenom, and Mahi Bayoretti had the opening keynote that year, and somebody asked him, "Do you think AI is going to take all of our jobs, HR, meaning all of the HR jobs?"
Right.
And Mahi, who, by the way, I'm a fan. I'm a big Mahi fan. He said, he just looked at them just really clear and said, no.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you why. He goes, AI can't fall in love. And I liked that. And what he, I think, was really speaking to is the things that matter to people at work, the things I get excited about, the things I value, how I want to show up, how I want to contribute to the world. AI can't help you do that. That's human.
That's right.
That's the people difference, if you will. And like we talked about isolved in part is wildly successful because of how they show up.
That's right.
And it's the people difference. And so the third big thing is AI can't fall in love, but you can.
That's right.
You can love your work. You can connect with colleagues. You can love your customers.
Yeah.
And no one can replace that. They can go to the market to try to hire 1,000 people to replace that, and they can't, because it is unique to the human experience and to the human spirit.
Drops mic, walks off stage.
Yeah.